Hey everyone, welcome back. It's another episode of Session Breakdowns and Analysis by yours truly, John Doe. Today I want to break down the arrangement, the mix, the master, the approach behind my latest release, Pavement. It's a drum and bass track that I really like. It came together in a unique way, so I'm going to step by step break it down for you. First, by playing the track. Alright, that's the first half. Hopefully you guys have heard it. If not, welcome to the channel. It breaks down into a hip-hop track. For sake of time, I'm going to skip ahead and play it for you. Yeah, and that's basically it. This was actually a song starter from Splice, and haters are gonna hate, but I mean, it's flipping a sample is flipping a sample. I think it was this Rhodes and this sax was the initial idea. One thing I like to do when I come across these song starters that are already there and are already cool, I like to find a patch in Omnisphere to give some ambience, kind of give it a setting. And that's what I did here. I've done this approach in other videos. If you check out the other videos, it's something I like to do. I think it's a unique. It gives the sample a unique perspective, and it's kind of what makes it mine. You know, I aim to make what's there better or add to it, not just throw it in a loop. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just my approach. So that was my first thing. I called it Glitch. It's an Omnisphere preset. I was using Omnisphere 2 at the time. I just updated this, but the preset is called Atlantis Underwater Rain. And if I take all my processing off of it, it sounds like this. So I filtered some lows, some mids, a dip in the 300, 305 range is always going to help you, almost always. And then I cut off the highs too. I want it in the background. This is not, it's texture, it's ambience. and sometimes I'll double down with these. I don't know if that was totally intentional or if I was just going on the fly. A lot of times I'll just mix with my ears, and we might find some unnecessary moves in here. I'll point them out if they're there, because to be honest, I almost didn't release this because of the mix, but I put some months between me and the last mix, and I started to like it, so I decided to put it out. This thing is really cool. A1 stereo control. It's a free plugin. Alex Hilton presents A1 stereo control. Google this thing. I can link it in the description. You can download it, throw it in FL Studio, Ableton right now. No money. How I like to use it are a few ways. The phase flip and the left-right swap mono are all great on this. It's a handy tool, but my favorite is the stereo width, and I usually keep it between 102 and 105, and it really widens things out. And you have this safe bass option here that I like to engage, and it tends to give me good results. But that, along with this Rhodes, where, excuse me, I did similar treatment and probably some unnecessary compression, but with these drum and bass tracks, you want to get them loud, so why not help yourself out? This LA2A from UAD is insane. I love this thing. And a little RC20 with the vinyl preset just at 8%, just a little touch of some fuzz, and then, just like I said, a little dip around 300. And that's what we started with. Now this track builds. I started with this filter drum loop, as you can hear it. I brought it in with a little volume automation. If you look here, automation is your friend, guys. Bring your tracks to life with automation. I have the gain come in. Comes up, then there's a little dip. And it slowly rises until the track comes in. This is just the intro, a nice 8-bar intro. And the drums I used are from a Noisia pack. I don't even think it's their latest one. I think it's their second one. And again, I wanted to make it mine, so I chopped it up. You know, I don't know if there's much rhyme or reason to it. Kind of like when the snares start to spaz on the second bar, kind of letting you know that the one is coming. If you were gonna ask, that's probably why I chopped it up. And I actually built the loop, and it came together. And then I'll do this a lot of times. I'll build a loop. I'll build a strong idea, and then what you can do is strip it away, strip the elements away. You know, mute a bass, take out the lead, filter stuff, and now you have an intro. If you're stuck in the loop, that might be one approach. Subtracting elements. So after chopping it up, this is how it sounds on its own. I guess it's going through a bus, but I did a lot to this. It's probably just a bunch of high pass filters, to be honest. But we put some infiltrator. I'll start from it raw. It's going through a bus, but I had A1 stereo on there, but took it off. Originally, it sounds like this. Not bad, pretty good. I just wanted it to, I wanted it to sound like early 2000s run through a sampler, ripping breakbeat, you know. So I started with Infiltrator, excuse me, the telephone effect. And honestly, I think that got me pretty far. But after that, it was I wanted it to fit in the mix. So I threw on another infiltrator with percussion mix assistant. Excuse me. Not sure what this is doing. Squashing it. Squashing, filtering. I threw on some Pro Q3, trusty, just a high pass filter. It's the beginning of the song, so we don't want the drums to hit fully. And then I put on my makeshift telephone effect, cutting off the highs and lows. You know, the prominent frequency would be around 1400. And then a great compressor limiter for percussion is your CLA 3A. I know it's trendy to not use compressors right now, but I like compressors. I'm going to compress it. And these are my settings. I like LA2As, LA3As because it's two knobs, and then you can kind of mess with these switches. But just light, it's barely touching it. Adding some gain, you know, and then I think this is where it gets crunchy, is Decimort with the ASR 10 preset. Don't shy away from presets, people. They, especially when you're learning, they can take you so much further than like learning every plugin inside and out. Like I don't know what DC shift does. I don't know what half the stuff does on Decimort, but the presets usually get me close. So I'm like, I like the way an ASR 10 sounds. That's what I'm going for. They gave me a layup. Might as well take it, you know? So that sounds like this. More crunch. And another Pro Q3, because I think it added some fuzz. So I wanted to take that off. And then Trusty Soothe, because that thing's sounding crunchy now. So we're going to tame some mid frequencies, because later on you'll see I have another snare, another kick coming through, and we want the fills to shine. So that's the intro. And I've got this is all running through my drum bus. It'll make more sense once the other elements come in. I'll run through it more thoroughly, but I have I don't even have a filter on really. Like I said, I automated the volume for impact, the gain, and then we drop into the first verse. Now, to give it that punch, I just brought in this kick and snare that I layered. And I'm pretty sure I was in the same pack. No, I used a cashmere kick. One that's trusty, I know works with almost everything. But I used the noisiest snare and some Flava D snare fills. So we got this kick, this snare, that fill, layered on top of that break we just kind of, I don't want to say we designed it, but we kind of made it ours. Now this kick, it's pretty much there. Took out 400, little dip. These little adjustments make a big difference further down the line when you're running it into the limiter, when you want everything to fit. I got orange clip on there. A lot of times I'll put on orange clip on a kick and not touch anything. It just sounds good. It helps. And then that was to make up for the difference in gain, that utility at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. Here's orange clip. And then here's the dip. I don't know if my window was blocking it. And then my snare, it has a really nice reverb on it. I find that these settings are really useful, but I parallel them. I don't know if you guys know about this, but one thing you can do in Ableton is pretty much for anything. Say you want to, I throw on Neo Warble. Ignore what that is, but any plugin, press Command G, open up this, I don't even know what this is. It's like a mixer within the mixer, and you can create a chain. I don't know if you're following me down here. Boom, 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 boom. You create this chain, you're now parallel processing, and you have control over each. It's like 2 tracks in one. You have control over each chain here, and you can affect it in infinite ways. But I like to do that with my reverb for whatever reason. See, I call it easy snare verb. I like to pull this out frequently, just when I don't want to think too hard about a reverb. It sounds good on snares. So, and then cut off some highs and lows. You know, snap back, that's a great one. It's just for a little thwop in the beginning. See that? I like to mess with the attack on these and the volume. And some orange clip. Again, I didn't touch anything on orange clip. And another touch. This was probably towards the end. I was getting some low end and some highs that were probably overpowering. These noisiest snares are powerful. And then these fills, my thinking was to have them follow the groove of the break. Thought it was cool. I thought I pulled it off. For percussion, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Plugin Alliance. I've subscribed to them for probably 10 years. But they have awesome plugins and awesome presets. This preset, it's for clipping drums. I think it's a drum bus clipper or drum kit clipper. I love throwing it on percussion because it helps it fit in the mix so well. It gives it punch, and you gain headroom. It saturates it. It's a versatile plugin. Love this thing, especially on percussion. And then a little control with my Pro Q3. Some of these cuts are a little more extreme than I would probably do these days, but it is what it is. The track sounds good. So let's move to the drum bus. This drum bus, it's a variation of drums I use frequently, of drum buses I use frequently. This is my preset on the Shadow Hills. This is through Plugin Alliance, as you can see. This is my preset for a compressor, a bus compressor. You can screenshot that or whatever. And then I add Black Box. This preset, I think it's called Drums. It's from them. I'll tweak it here and there. Usually I mess with the mix knob more than anything. And then hit it with the Oxford inflator, like this. A lot of times I guess I'll mess with the input output. I like to turn this on or off. It tends to color it differently to my ears. We got some gold clip. I guess the snare's hitting it pretty hard. Made up some gain here. This is my reverb for these drums. And then for fills, I automated Infiltrator. This thing will kick on at the end of a bar and glitch out. That's where these explosions are coming from. Let's see if I can find one. That might be later on. There it is. You know, because a great way to create variation. Like first this track, I think the way I create variation, first, obviously you have the filtered beginning, comes in with the kick and snare and the fills. Then you have some hi-hats. These Oliver hi-hats. I like using Oliver tools because he simplifies his programming and makes it easy for you to do it, you know? Some of these drums you'll download from Splice or wherever, and they have so much to them. It's a fill every 2 seconds, and it's too much. Like this, these are just quarter notes that I can chop. 16th notes, I'm in double time, but you know what I mean. A lot of times I like this de-esser on hi-hats, especially a track like this where the bass is huge. Just squashes them. I can just put them up in the corner and they don't lose impact. Obviously, we're cutting the lows off these. But, yeah, the hi-hats come in. You know, but it does the same thing on this B part, this second half. I don't know if you'd call it a verse, chorus, this is an instrumental, but it gets a little repetitive. So these fills, automating Infiltrator, just really keep things interesting. And then we filter it for an outro. I think that's this one. I love the low pass filter for Infiltrator. I think it sounds so good. Yeah, and like I said, we didn't do much in that first half of the song, music-wise or melody-wise. I kind of let the sample do the work. But I will break down this bass for you. It was a Serum 2 thing. I have Serum 3 now, but I don't know. It's a Splice preset, I guess. Oh, sweet. It was from that Over Mono sounding pack, which checks out. I'm a huge Over Mono fan. But, you know, this was it before my processing. Sounds great. It just needed a little control, a little color, in my opinion. This is my 808 utility tool. I use it on almost all my basses because it's just everything I might want to reach for with a bass. Saves me a lot of time. I'm not thinking about it too hard. I can just kind of get my bass under control. You know, it starts with this, what's it called? Brainworks BX Digital V3. Yeah, BX Digital. I like this thing because it's transparent. You're not gonna have phase issues really. It's not gonna color it super hard as an EQ. It kind of is just very utilitarian cuts and boosts. And I only use it for cuts really. But I find myself monoing my basses up to about 74 hertz. I don't know. With whatever I have going on under my hood, it tends to work out. Sometimes I'll go up to 80 or 90. Sometimes I'll turn it off. For this track, 74 was perfect. And a little dip around 200. And I cut the highs all the way down to 3000 hertz. And I controlled it with a little L2. It's right here. This gives me a lot of gain, and if you look at the waveform, it really controls those peaks, which is big on a big bass like this. It's important on a big bass like this. Some black box. I think this is speaker enhancer. That's the preset, and I think the mix is only at like 4 or 5%. And then I did the same shape EQ, just cut out the 200, reinforce the idea. I felt like it needed it, and then sidechained it to the kick drum. And this track is interesting. It goes from a drum and bass track to a hip hop beat, and it's two totally separate drum sets playing. So I have this bass sidechained to both kick drums. But this thing is clean. This sidechain is very clean. As you can see, Jason Joshua sidechain, grabbed it from him years ago, stuck with it. I kind of been messing with the Cable Guys one. To be continued. I'll probably post some videos on it. But that's the first half, and the track drops off. Now the sax has tons of reverb and delay. It just fits with drum and bass. It's kind of dreamy, and I had this pad come in, and this is great. I love samples like this. No processing at all on this sound. I don't know. It's another Splice one off the Low End Theory pack. Shout out. Just a pad from that pack. No processing on it at all. It sounds like this. Really simple programming. And a pro tip, is when you program these dreamy chords, whether it's strings or pads, one thing that can help them a lot is to have one note play throughout the entire chord progression. Like have it hold. It's just a cool vibe, and then all together. I sort of wanted everything to just wash out and move into this other world that's coming up. So I did that. And then these hip hop drums come in. Now here's where I started to introduce some of my own melodic elements. Like I have this chord progression. I think I drew these in. Guys, I'm not much of a key player. I'll admit it. But I was trying to use some jazz chords paired with these. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't think I thought that much. I think I just... Oh, and another great trick. If you're stuck in the loop, you're using samples, this thing, Effects Tricks, is a godsend. But I just threw a stutter on. I think I threw it on the sample and this Omnisphere glitch thing. See, it's that same Rhodes, but I just have this Effects Tricks on it. And you can click on this, adjust the tempo, the attack, the release. Like, you have tons of control with this thing, but it sounds really good. But it's a great way to add variation to the loop, get out of the loop. But it kind of brought us into this hip-hop world, leaving the drum and bass world. And then I bring in this piano melody on top. So this first piano, these chords that come in, sorry if I'm jumping around, it's an Omnisphere patch, dark stereo upright, one of my favorite ones, plug and play. Put some LA2A on there, probably unnecessary, you know, cut out the lows and highs, making it fit. And then I made this piano melody. I thought it was kind of interesting. You know, I think I started with dark stereo upright. Yeah, with no processing. But I wanted to layer it. Just to make it stick out, because on its own, it's cool, but we have all these tools at our disposal. So again, I grouped these together. I added a Unfound Neverland preset. What is that doing? It's just some glitter. Just changing the environment. It's some glitter on top. And this next one, mechanical thud bass. This is probably for some body. Oh, for attack. I love adding sort of metallic attack sounds to piano to sort of make things interesting. And then this UAD Moog. I never use this thing. I got it pitched down, and it's the classic proggy Porta preset with some automation. It looks like on the filter. So this is it by itself. Sounds cool, honestly. That thing sounds really good. I should use it more. Sounds real. And then all together. Yeah, and I went nuts programming these. I think I was playing with the chords in Ableton's recombined thing. Yeah, I still have it pulled up if you can see it. And that's why they're all nuts. And I used Effects Tricks to cheat. I just automated Effects Tricks to open up on that turnaround. And I got this preset called Beat Painter. Probably saved me on that one, to be honest. But that's the top line. Now these drums, I really like these drums. Really simple groove. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and see on the 4, on the second one I have these glitched out snares. I don't know, on its own it's this. I just needed to control the highs. And then light bulbs. Light bulbs is the preset on the infamous Infiltrator. Give it some depth, some squirt, and then Ableton Overdrive. And what do you know? Cut the lows and highs. And I got a glitched out snare layered with this one, this clap. This might even be the same hi-hat loop from Oliver. Then I got a count kick. How did I mix this? Similar to the last one, you know. We have some dynamic EQ on the around 300 on the lows. I find that the count has really dope kicks, but the low end it gets a little powerful for what I have going on. And this clipper, again, orange clip, didn't do anything. It's clipping 0.6 decibels. You know, I make up for the gain with the utility. This must have been at the end. Once everything's limited, you could dip a little at almost 300. And we have a little rim. Oh, and it's the... What is going on here? So I've got snapback on here, just to add a little something in front, and then tons of reverb and tons of delay. See, that's kind of what's causing the groove, is this H delay. Boom, 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 boom. Because without it, boom, boom. It's still cool, but it's like a ghost note. It's not, I didn't reinvent the wheel. This is in tons of hip hop beats, but it just worked for this particular scenario. A weird drum fill that I didn't know was there. No processing on it. I love it. And then if you look closely, there's some variation, or if you listen closely, there's some variation on that fourth snare on the second bar. Same processing. I think I layered this Umru tin sound on top of it and another snare, like glass breaking. Just to change it, you know, keep the listener engaged, hopefully. Yeah, and the drum bus, it's the same one, but if you know, this usually stays the same when I'm processing drums. You can see on this one the mix knob is up higher. The inflator is looking about the same. Gold clip, it's hitting gold clip a little harder. It's still mostly that rim though. Controlling the lows and highs with Pro Q3. little makeup gain, and I don't know, do I have automation? No reverb. It's there just in case I want it, but no reverb. No reverb. There's so much going on with those snares that I think reverb would just clog it up. Yeah, so all that. Those are my drum buses, my music bus, all this stuff is going to this machine head. Plugin Alliance machine head, or shout out Make Believe Recordings. They have one called Mix Head that's really cool. Different flavors of the same thing. They're both modeling the same plugin, but it's different flavors. I really like this thing. I like to push it hard. I drove it, like for the musical stuff, I drove it 6 decibels. This high frequency adjust knob is really fun. The high tape speed sounds really cool. Really great plugin. This is before and after. It's kind of subtle, but it's definitely more present, you know. And then a thing, this I picked this up from a Jason Joshua podcast, and it's kind of my own spin on it. It says MV2 setting from Waves. I throw that, if you look down at the bottom left, I throw that into a parallel processing chain, Ableton 1. I just bring it into taste, you know, start like this. Now obviously you watch the gain here. While you do that, that's going to be your tell-all, but I find it gives my music bus a lot of presence, especially when the drums are hitting hard. And then I must have got this from the same source, because this is a Jason Joshua music preset, dialed up to about 8%. But if you guys screenshot these, that's money. This is stuff you can throw on almost anything and it'll sound pretty good. So I have that, my bass and my drum buses going to a parallel processing chain. What I like to do, this is big. I send everything to a bus like this, as you can see highlighted in Ableton, this bus. Send everything here. I can throw effects on it and automate it if I want, obviously. That's not the main point of this thing. This is a parallel processing bus, and I take my send right here, turn it all the way up. Now this send is going to this return track in Ableton, and I create this parallel mastering chain, and this is my whole mix going to this. And it's these settings that I don't even touch. And I'll usually bring that into taste. Yeah, but what I find is you don't get a lot of gain, but you get a lot of punch. And that's good, because when we throw that into our mastering chain, into our limiter, it's going to sound that much bigger, that much fuller. Yeah, the master on this thing is I got some automation on there, which is not something I do regularly. It looks like I automated some gain, but it's because you basically have 2 tracks in one. So I have I use this BX Digital EQ on all my masters. And as you can see, I've got it automated so one turns off during one part of the song and one turns on during one part of the song. You know, because they're pretty different. I think it was sort of a challenge getting the hip hop punch and the drum and bass dreamy sound to agree on a master. It wasn't like super complicated, but required some automation. And my Pro Q3, I'll usually use this to scan for frequencies, as you can see, but these are all bypassed, so I could turn that off. Yeah, I have these plugins on here, but I'm not using them, which is good. You know, I try to do the least amount possible on my master. My philosophy is having the work done under the hood so that I'm not fixing problems on my master chain that just causes problems for me. Yeah, but we're hitting God Particle pretty conservatively, excuse me. I'd be hitting it a lot harder these days, and I have this mastering compressor on, which might be better without, in my opinion, but I was running with this thing for a while, so I left it on there. Oxford inflator for a little color, post limiter, and the final Pro L2. And because it's 2 songs in one, I automated the gain again on this thing. But I find, you know, if my tracks are sitting around -7 LUFS and they go up to -5, even -6 on loud parts, if it's really an energetic track with a lot going on, big bass, maybe an EDM thing, we can push it harder. But these like jazzy sounding tracks, they're fine sitting around there. Obviously LUFS is not your end all be all, but it's a good rule of thumb, let's say. I use it quite a bit. Shout out this Max device. It's called Notepad NTPD. You guys should grab this thing. Maybe I'll link it. I like to make notes while I'm mixing, even when I'm composing. Let's say I want to take a break or I just got to hang it up for the day. I can write down where I'm at, and instead of just like getting off task and getting all ADD, I can write down the next approach, and I'm less likely to get lost in the mix. But this is the track Pavement by Jawn. If you guys have any questions, please post a comment in the chat. If there's any topics you want me to cover regarding Ableton or writing music, composing, this style, other styles, mostly this style, let me know. This community's growing and fun, and I appreciate you guys hanging out. So that's it. Thanks.